Do you want to see what God of Destruction, what HAKAISHIN Vegeta can do? Do you want to see him in action? Well, you've come to the right place.
Prepare yourself, Dan Saiyan.
What is up, Black Squad? Blackscape here, and today we have a brand new video that showcases the full range of powers that HAKAISHIN Vegeta has in Dragon Ball Super. But before I jump in, I do want to promote my TikTok. I dropped a brand new video today for those of you guys who would like a face reel of some kind. I have that video up right now, dropped it a few hours ago, brand new, it's fresh. I'm gonna leave a link to it in the description below in the top comment. Go ahead and check it out, and while you're down there, don't forget to slap that like button for the YouTube algorithm to promote the video worldwide and get us closer to the 400k mortal plan. Today's Dragon Ball fan manga comes to us from Jordan Durham and Monty Black. Jordan Durham, you guys may recognize from Dragon Ball Infinity fame, and Monty Black is a brand new Dragon Ball fan manga creator. I'm gonna leave links to their information in the description below in the top comment. Make sure to support them and check it out. Always support the original artist and creator. I've covered the first part of this Dragon Ball fan manga, but as you guys have noticed lately, I have been focusing a lot on Dragon Ball fan animations, and I've been waiting for Dragon Ball fan mangas to kind of like get fully developed, at least for a few chapters before I cover them, so I have something longer to cover instead of just a few pages here and there. So I do have that first part that's also going to be in the description, but just a quick synopsis. Essentially, there is a crisis in Universe 6. The Tuffles are back from Dragon Ball Heroes. They are attacking planet Sadala forces and infiltrating their ranks, while at the same time we have Vegeta in the future coming to Universe 6 for a training mission to see Cabba, to see planet Sadala, and get to know the new Saiyans. But as he arrives, he is seen as an intruder and attacked on sight. This is where our story begins. The Saiyans ship is attacking and immobilizing the planet Sadala patrol with their intended goal to capture them because they could easily destroy them with the level of technology at display. But the one thing that's becoming clear is one of the warriors from the planet Sadala patrol is under Saiyans control. Just at that moment, the infiltrated agent pulls out a device that blasts a smoke screen all through the ship, leading to the reveal of the two Saiyans that we've known from Dragon Ball Heroes, one taking control of the Sadala soldier. The Sadala king is aware of the Saiyans and their plot, needing them to be captured alive, which is something that is verified by the infiltrator. King keeps on goading them, saying that your empire is gone, you need to accept your defeat and move on. That is when we get our first bit of lore that the Saiyans that we see here are the ones that actually destroyed the Saiyan people, the empire, the Tuffles, and did it so because they want the entire thing to be reborn. That is when we get a flashback to the Saiyan world, where the two hero Tuffles that we see from Dragon Ball Heroes, they were actually Saiyan royalty and everyone adored them. But at some point they both fell ill and were bedridden. Their father was either the ruler of the Saiyans or a high-ranking general. Whichever the case was, he was stealing all the resources from different worlds and expanding the Saiyan Empire to its limits, but trying to create almost like a hybrid, technologically advanced Tuffle race to free them from the restrictions of biological life. And once his children became ill, he tried everything he could to save them, but nothing worked. And once his children were gone, he was upset that he could do nothing to save them, and that is when one of his scientists came to him and told him that they are working on a supercomputer that could remake the Tuffle children into super Tuffles, new and improved, super beyond all belief. But the only way to get there is to drain planets of their resources and basically kill planets to save these kids. And that's something that the Tuffles at that moment were already doing anyway, so might as well do it to create new super soldiers, destroying planets, destroying nature, a war against the biological to create something completely enhanced and artificial. And that is exactly what happened with the destruction of planets. The two children were revived into super Tuffles, and they were greeting their father for a brand new family reunion. But just like all android stories, these androids turned on their creators, the scientists, and their father, killing all of them because of the inferior quality of biological life in the Tuffle Empire, which makes sense. I mean, the whole point of the Tuffles was to remove biological life, but they haven't been done with their enhancements yet. They haven't shifted over to that quasi-biological, artificial android life yet. Not all of them had anyway, definitely not the father, so it would make sense that his children, who are now fully biological, would turn on the biologicals all around them. And so the Tuffles killed everyone, destroying the Tuffle race and leaving only two behind, two hybrids that seem to be at this point more artificial than biological, but they did promise them that they will return once again, and that seems to be their master plan here. And with the planet Sadala force basically being stretched far across the Empire, taking the place of the Tuffles before them, they are the perfect subject for assimilation, and that is exactly what they do. They assimilate the captain, and the rest is history. We go back to planet Sadala after the vicious beating that Vegeta did to all the Saiyans that attacked him. Cabba explains that he is here because he restored Universe 6 and wants to train the next planet Sadala warriors, but Vegeta cuts Cabba off abruptly and tells them that he's got no intention of playing the hero. The only reason that he wished the planet back is to see planet Sadala for himself, but after seeing it, after facing against these warriors, he could take these guys out easily. So that is the reason he wants to train them, that way they can solve their own problems and be efficient on their own. The Universe 6 Saiyans misconstrue Vegeta immediately, thinking that he's some sort of hero, but Vegeta lays it out plainly. You guys face pirates. My race used to buy and sell planets. I was royalty. We took the planet from the Tuffles. We are a devious, or were a devious and savage race. So I understand the threats that you face, since you guys are honorable, you guys are good guys, you guys are heroes, and we were not. But as Vegeta has gone through so much changes, and even in the Dragon Ball Super manga, he doesn't care about his past that much anymore, and he's thrown it to the side. He's here only to see that the Saiyan race survives and thrives even in Universe 6, and so if you guys are unworthy of gaining the power, then Vegeta will destroy these warriors himself, kind of going into that quasi-god of destruction mode. And as he orders them all to report for training immediately, Cabba presents Vegeta with new training garbs that were a gift from Whis. And that is when Drip Vegeta is born. No, I'm just playing, but seriously, look at this outfit, man. You guys from the Dragon Ball Infinity crew really outdid yourselves with this design or redesign. Goku and Vegeta are in a desperate need to get new clothing, new wardrobes, and I know they don't want to do it because they don't want to, you know, change up the toys they could sell or things like that. They don't want to change the iconic image of what Goku and Vegeta look like, but they do need new fresh gear, and this is awesome. This is a Planet Sadala mixed with God of Destruction outfit that really works well with Vegeta. And to be honest, it's one of the more iconic outfits that I've seen in a Dragon Ball fan manga. This chapter, this is where the artwork, in my opinion, gets extremely refined from what came earlier. This actually reminds me more of the Toyotaro style, and it's the closest that we're getting in a fan manga to that Toyotaro style of drawing. Vegeta here explains in the Sadala arena exactly what the Saiyans are. They are a hyper-evolutionary race, and the Saiyans in Universe 6, they went a step further in their evolution by removing and losing their tails, but at the same time, they lost a lot of their anger and frustration and rage, so they didn't really get to go into Super Saiyan or anything like that because that is what triggers that transformation. In Universe 7, they had tails, which they heavily relied on, and that was a mistake because that removed any obstacle in their path from pushing them to become much stronger. Which makes sense. I mean, the Uzarus really kind of were planet killers. They destroyed planets with ease, they killed everybody, and there were a few that could go up against them, which doesn't make it a very valuable trading proposition. Like, it's not really something that is going to push a evolutionary standard in training and make them become stronger, because you can kind of annihilate anything with the transformation. But once they raised their power levels, their bodies became so used to that power they didn't rely on their tails anymore, and that is when Vegeta showcased a little bit of that Super Saiyan flair to the new Planet Sadala recruits. Vegeta knows that the Universe 6 Saiyans have been ready to evolve and become Super Saiyans and beyond for a long time now, since they lost their tail centuries ago, and so they can do this easily, and that's probably why Cabba and Caulifla and Kale were able to jump into it so easily, at least with this explanation. But their true destiny is far beyond, and that is when Vegeta transforms into Super Saiyan God, showcasing that if he can do this on his own, which is something that I don't really like when Vegeta did it on his own without really any explanation. I am a fan of the ritual, but I get what he's trying to say here. He reassures them that they can do this too. Now, he knows that Cabba is the strongest warrior on the planet right now other than Caulifla and Kale, so he chooses Cabba to face off against 5 of the strongest Saiyan warriors in the army right now. And as Cabba faces off against these warriors, they all attack him at once, and he easily deflects, blocks, and attacks these guys without much of any real exertion or anything that really makes this a difficult battle. He is cool, calm, and collected here. This is not a difficult fight whatsoever. And as they all continue to get their butt whooped, Cabba goes into Super Saiyan, which forces one of the Planet Sadala warriors to attempt to attack him with an energy beam, but Cabba is way too fast for him. But before he delivers the finishing blow, Vegeta tells him to stop, and Cabba stops and goes back to regular base. And even Cabba, with the Super Saiyan transformation, I mean, it is all rage, goes a little bit too far, which is something that I like that is intact with the Super Saiyan transformation. A little bit of uncontrollable, or being filled with rage that you do things that are not in your nature. I like that aspect of it. Vegeta warns that do not rely on the Super Saiyan transformation the same way we relied on Uzaru. If you rely too much on the Saiyan transformation, you remain stagnant, which is just so true in life. Relying and being comfortable where you're at and what you're doing and not pushing yourself and striving for more is something that will just hamper progression, really. And that's something that Vegeta is saying right here when it comes to training and power, but it is so true in life. And he says that he learned this technique from an old friend, which is Goku. Obviously, I'm not sure where Goku is in this story yet, or if we're gonna see him, but I like that this is all about Vegeta, first of all, so that I'm a big Vegeta fan. You guys know that from my channel, so I'm glad that we're doing this. I would like to see Goku at some point, but Vegeta, let's just give Vegeta some shine. But I do like that he says old friend, because regardless of where they were or what they've been doing, Goku and Vegeta, they're friends. They spend a lot of time together. They're definitely friends. Now, Vegeta says that it's time to show them exactly what he is capable of and transforms into Super Saiyan Blue. You all have family here, family that you want to take care of, as Vegeta powers down to base. These people that you care for, they will give you that great power that you seek. So I suggest that you all dig deep, because if you prove to be a disappointment to me in this very moment, then I will destroy the entire planet. And Vegeta, you can see here, those eyes. I love that gradient, by the way. I love how the eyes, I already seen the color version. The eyes are purple with the purple pupils. Love that. That's like such a great God of Destruction design. Love it. And this shocks Cabba a little bit, even though he shouldn't be shocked because he did threaten this already. But the other Saiyans are like, what the hell is he talking about? Because they have not heard this yet. And although I think Cabba should be thinking about this in a sense where Vegeta is trying to push them like he did in the Universe 6 tournament, I think him transforming into like this semi-God Destruction mode, the killing intent in that, it made everyone just snap. They're like, we need to take this guy down now. And they all attack Vegeta at the same time. As he stands still and barely moves, they all attack him, does nothing. Cabba goes into a signature move with the rest of them shooting volleys, but the volleys hit the aura around him, the God of Destruction aura, which is something that I hope to see in the DBS manga, and it completely vanished. Same thing that Toppo did in the Tournament of Power. Levitating, Vegeta leaves world entirely, going into outer space and charging up what looks like to be a God of Destruction version of Final Flash, with light energy and dark energy both combining in a beautiful crescendo. Cabba orders the entire army, the entire Planet Sadala army, stand behind him. They will all do Cabba's signature. I'm assuming this is the Planet Sadala signature move, and they all shoot at the exact same time. You can even see in this panel right here, thousands of soldiers shooting in one row as Vegeta shoots the final flash at Planet Sadala. They are here to save their planet at this point. Vegeta is not playing. I love this extra push, the seriousness behind the situation. Vegeta wasn't here to play around. He didn't just tell Cabba he's going to destroy the planet and not mean it. He actually meant it, and this shows. Even though I do still believe, obviously, that Vegeta's a good guy, he's not really going to destroy planet Sadala, and he's just doing this as a training lesson. This is a hard-ass training lesson. This is a hard-ass lesson that these guys are going to have to learn. And the clash from a planet shooting, essentially, a ki blast at a god of destruction who's shooting another ki blast, that clash must be awe-inspiring. It's such a cool thing to even picture, a planet trying to save itself with a ki blast, because that's what it would look like. All these Saiyans trying to shoot a giant blast and coming from the planet, trying to save themselves, and they are struggling. But this seems to be pushing the other Saiyans into Super Saiyan. Almost all of them in this shot right here are Super Saiyan right now. They've transformed to make this energy beam as strong as possible. And the energy beam is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, but I mean, this is God of Destruction Vegeta we're talking about, and Cabba, who's at the front of this, is struggling to hold on as Vegeta looks sinisterly down on poor planet Sadala. Both energy beams vanish at a thin air, completely gone, because Vegeta Hakai'd both of them, and they're all like, what just happened? Struggling to get up. Almost all of them are Super Saiyans at this point. And then Vegeta has one of the most epic lines that he's had since the Dragon Ball Super chapter that we just got through, where he was just saying a bunch of badass shit. There is no good, there is no evil, only progress. And before creation comes destruction, as he shoots what looks like to be a death ball with both Hakai energy and regular Saiyan energy mixed into one. Cabba yells for everyone to lend him their energy because they only have one shot to save themselves, and this focuses Cabba, who needs to save his planet from sure destruction. Cabba himself shoots an energy blast, going so quick that hits the energy ball before it gets even close to planet Sadala, forcing it to explode right in front of Vegeta. And essentially, in one chapter, Cabba becomes Yamashi, with all the good Saiyans facing off against the evil Saiyan, and him transforming into Super Saiyan God while the rest of the Saiyans transform into Super Saiyans themselves, and they won. And Cabba is shocked because now he is Super Saiyan God, and he has transcended into that next level. And just in a training session that probably only took 30 minutes, most of the army, if not all of them, are Super Saiyans now, being led by a Super Saiyan God. Great chapter. Vegeta looks down with a smile. And of course, this spectacle is going to bring in Kale and Caulifla, who has seen exactly what the Planet Sadala crew has done in such a short amount of time, dealing with some heavy firepower. And Caulifla explains to Kale that Cabba has been seen and has been heard. There are rumors that he is doing things that other Saiyans wouldn't even dream of at this point, so he may be stronger than the last time that they had seen him, which could be a very long time at this point. So they want to go ahead and find out what is going on with the Planet Sadala army. Everyone's a Super Saiyan now, all of the Planet Sadala army, as Cabba stands there, a god among his men, and Vegeta looks down as Kale and Caulifla join the fray, and the Planet Sadala army is on guard, as Caulifla is also on guard because now she's not the only Super Saiyan on the planet. And immediately upon seeing Kale and Caulifla, they all realize that, I mean, she's been doing whatever she wants to because she's a Super Saiyan, and she was stronger before them too for so long, a nuisance to the Planet Sadala army, that now that they're all Super Saiyans, it's time to take her down. The entire army versus Kale and Caulifla, and this immediately pushes Kale into becoming a berserker to defend Caulifla. And I don't know, can she take down the entire army as a berserker? Maybe, I don't know. But they all try jumping on her in a honeycomb of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of soldiers, all Super Saiyan attacking the berserker, as Kale really can't do anything besides block at this point. Kale can only use her energy and her ki to push them all back, which pushes one Saiyan to say she's a demon, but Kale and Caulifla, they have a stronger bond than that, and Caulifla explains that her energy is getting to her head, look what it's doing to all of you. But I mean, Caulifla is an outlaw, so I mean, she shouldn't be surprised that the entire army of Super Saiyans is trying to kill both her and her protege, and they are dead set on killing her at this point, or apprehending her. But more likely annihilating her. They attack Kale with no finesse, no restriction, and just making a mess of things, as Caulifla tells Kale to calm down because she is handling her own against all these Super Saiyans. An epic fight, honestly, an epic fight. Vegeta should have seen this coming. He says an army of rookie Super Saiyans is going to be uncultured and not knowing what to do or fight specifically like a Super Saiyan, and that's when he starts seeing that Kale is changing in front of his eyes, and he recognizes it. Kale's powers surging, overflowing, and Caulifla comes close trying to calm her down, but with one solid punch, she gets swatted away to everyone's surprise, and then Kale comes after, destroy the rest of the Saiyans, but Cabba stops this. This has gone long enough, and with one hand completely blocks the berserker, which I think is good power scaling because I don't think that Kale is as strong as Broly. I think this is a different form of berserker, not the same as Broly, but similar. And so, Super Saiyan God, I mean, especially against a Kale that probably hasn't trained, and Cabba has, I could see this turning out this way, but Cabba explains that we should only be facing each other as Saiyans to grow stronger. This war will do nothing but destroy us, which, again, another sign that this is reminiscing the story of Yamoshi. And with Talk No Jutsu activated, Kale calms down and goes back to normal. I love this shot right here. I love this semi-berserker but normal looking controlled Kale. It's pretty cute. Cabba and Caulifla are both happy that she calmed down on her own, and Vegeta is just happy because he never thought he would see a war prevented between the outlaws and the soldiers of planet Sadala in his own lifetime. He never thought he'd see this, and yet it has happened because of Cabba, because of his student. And this has been a learning experience for Vegeta. I like that this Vegeta is willing to learn, and he's just so much more humbled, but he says there's still much work to be done in Universe 6. And I love this banter between Caulifla and Cabba. I mean, obviously Caulifla wants Cabba, but Cabba, is trying to play aloof, trying to play, like on the sidelines here, saying that, he can't really control this power. He can probably take Caulifla and Kale on, if you know what I mean, but he doesn't want to do it right now, and he's still training. And Caulifla is impressed with what just went on, and she's asking who was that giant blast that was attacking planet Sadala, and that was Vegeta. And Vegeta informs her that he's there to get the planet Sadala Force into shape, but Caulifla knows whether they're Super Saiyans or whatever, they don't really stand much of a chance because they are completely untrained. They are chumps. But Vegeta burns Caulifla and says that no, you're the one that needs more work. Caulifla knows that she is refined in her technique. She is the strongest warrior here. But Vegeta says, no, you have strength and technique, but you have a ton of pride. And pride is a strength, but it's also a weakness. Caulifla says she doesn't need any lectures from an old man, but Vegeta challenges her and says that you have the capability and the opportunity here to push yourself beyond fear. And you can do so if you have what it takes. With the rest of the army looking on to Vegeta in happiness, in glee, wanting to see what happens next, and Caulifla having to push Kale back, saying, no, I'm gonna take care of this, don't you worry. So Vegeta versus Caulifla is about to happen, and Caulifla's pride is getting to her head here because she is just a Super Saiyan, I think Super Saiyan 2 at most, facing off against a god of destruction. But she faces Vegeta with no fear, attacking Vegeta from the front, then trying to pop up from the back. Vegeta dodges very easily, leading Caulifla to attack him constantly. But Vegeta puts a little bit more salt in that wound and says, if you think you can defeat me as a Super Saiyan, then I'm not impressed with you whatsoever. And that's when she pushes it to a Super Saiyan 2, attacking Vegeta even more, a lot faster. I like the difference in speed here that we're seeing with the art and the art style around Caulifla as she attacks Vegeta relentlessly. But Vegeta knows that Caulifla is all talk at this point because Super Saiyan 2 just ain't gonna cut it. Caulifla says, fine, you want both barrels? Here you go, and transforms into a Super Saiyan 3. And this is what Vegeta has been waiting for, her to push herself beyond her limits, but he knows in probably the best looking shot in this whole entire series at this point that Super Saiyan 3 ain't nothing compared to God of Destruction, and we're about to get Beerus versus Goku from Battle of Gods all over again. Caulifla comes in for a punch, hitting the ground, leaving a crater as she looks back at Vegeta, who easily dodged, as Vegeta has gone into the HAKAISHIN mode, literally the scene from Battle of Gods, Goku versus Beerus. And of course this is such an homage to that scene as Caulifla gets frustrated that Vegeta is dodging, and Vegeta doesn't flick her forehead, he just pokes it and she goes flying. And with one thwack to the back of Caulifla's neck, she is out just like her would-be master before her, which is kind of disappointing that Goku hasn't really come to train Caulifla at all at this point, and Vegeta actually is the one coming to train one of the next generation. But yeah, she should have gone to Universe 7 like the Caulifla we see in the other Dragon Ball fan manga, where she actually does train with everybody to get stronger, because at this point she is Super Saiyan 3. I guess she does have a 1-up on the other Caulifla, but yeah, she still gets knocked out all the same. This is what relying on Super Saiyan will ultimately lead to. Exactly what Vegeta said. He used Caulifla as a training moment for the rest of the Planet Sadala army. Push yourself. Without a crunch, that's how you grow. And Caulifla takes a ride on Kale's shoulder as Kale drags her off the battlefield because she is completely done. But Vegeta ain't done yet. He says, if you're ready, the lesson starts now. We cut to an unfamiliar world where an old man looks over the ocean and his grandson comes in and says he's come to check on him, and this is a welcome visit. His grandson is worried because he keeps having this dream of the planet being taken over by aliens, and the grandfather says this could be the past, because in the past we actually were at war with aliens who try to take our planet for its resources, coming into our domes and trying to build cities where we lived while we hid. But we created gas bombs that were meant to have the local plant life kill them, but at the same time what ended up happening is the plant life actually mutated us, so now we are part plant, which is an unfortunate side effect of any military weapon. His grandpa remembers that most of this alien race ended up dying out afterward because they were unsuitable for the new environment, and his grandson wonders why they can't prepare for war yet again, but they, as a species, vowed never to conduct war ever again. And this is mainly due to all the atrocities that happened because of the war, the death and destruction, and the mutation that happened because of this conflict. And the grandson thinks about it and says, well, I'm gonna go ahead and gather some water for everybody. His grandpa tries to teach his grandson by saying, never fight for revenge, always fight for the sake of others. That is a noble cause. Don't ever forget that, because if you fight for revenge, you will suffer. And his grandson says, I thank you for the advice. And that is when he's stopped by a waifu, a plant waifu to say the least, and she asks if he's going to go see the boys. And yes, they seem to be working double time for something, but she's kind of wondering when's the next time they could chill, Netflix and chill, because, a break would be nice, and he agrees a break would be nice. She gives him a little bit of a heads up that the king of planet Sadala is going to be talking to the king of this planet and have a secret meeting of some kind, and he thanks her for the information. I actually kind of like this species. They have a lot of lore. I mean, it's a lot of exposition all at once, in my opinion, but we kind of need that to keep the story flowing, so I like these people, I like these designs, I definitely like this race. He meets with his team, which are all named after herbs, and now the entire planet Sadala force is heading to this planet, which seems more like an invasion to me, but they don't seem to be worried. I think because in Universe 6, Planet Sadala is a peacekeeping force, the army, so they're not here for conquering, and so they're probably not worried about anything. If anything, it's probably like a conference of some kind. Maybe they're coming for a vacation, probably what they're thinking, but something tells me something bad's about to happen. His friends seem to be worried about the force that's coming to their planet, but he says, don't worry, it's gonna be nothing. They're just probably here to talk up to the king and talk about some conference or something and some issues that are happening, but it's gonna be no big deal. And they say they hope they're right. I like that there is a kingdom that seems to be much weaker than Planet Sadala, and Planet Sadala is coming straight to it for unknown reasons, but that is when we get to find out with the king of Gardenia that looks like almost like a Roman king or Roman emperor. He's curious to know how big of a threat these Tuffles are, that the Planet Sadala force needs to make bases in their domes to fight off this incursion, and the Planet Sadala king says that we need these domes because we need to observe the Tuffles' movements before the planet is completely surrounded. And as the entire Planet Sadala army engulfs the planet, they drop a dome here, a base for the Planet Sadala army, but The king is surprised that this base is so ginormous and so huge, but the king from Planet Sadala reassures him, don't worry, this is just our base, our own dome to protect us and for us to see long range. And we see here that he's accompanied by the Saffurian, so this guy was controlled, the king is controlled by the Saffurian, and now we know exactly what's going on. This is an invasion. But as quickly as this meeting went south with that dome dropping, the Saiyan accompanying the king starts killing the rest of the people in the court, and the king transforms into a Saffurian and says the invasion has begun, and this is more likely the end of the king of planet Gardenia, as he gets shot right in the chest in the most gruesome fashion. And the king from planet Sadala says to everyone that the revolt has just begun. The Gardenians had killed their own king, and it's time for them to come in and try to regain order on the planet itself. But as the invasion force begins to come down on planet Gardenia, huge shockwaves shoot throughout the galaxy, even shocking the Saffurians who are there to invade. And those shockwaves are the clashes between Cabba and Vegeta, who are sparring above planet Sadala. Cabba's worried that he's about to destroy the entire universe with the clashes, same as Battle of Gods, but Vegeta explains you have to learn to control the power. You can't be afraid of accidentally destroying everything, because you have to use this power to protect everyone. And if you can control the power, you will be in charge of the destruction of the entire universe. This is Battle of Gods again, with Goku versus Beerus, just reimagined in Universe 6. Cabba's power completely vanishes because now he has basically lost a time limit of Super Saiyan God. It's the first time he's done it, but he feels a lot stronger. Vegeta explains that now you have gained a lot of strength from the Super Saiyan God in your base form. You become stronger on that level, and that just means you can go into Super Saiyan God whenever you want. And he challenges Cabba to attack him with that heightened ability in his base form, but Cabba is just tired and wants to take a break at this point. But breaks are for the weak, and Vegeta attacks him because YOLO, and the heightened ki starts spilling out of Cabba's body as he tries to defend himself from Vegeta. And Vegeta, his whole training method is either you survive or you die in his battle. There is no in between. So you either fight like your life depends on it, or you don't fight at all because you're gonna die. Cabba's kind of had enough of Vegeta's bullshit at this point and attacks him with full force, and the clash is enough to wipe out Cabba's last remaining ki. The Saiyan passes out, falling from grace as Vegeta catches him. Vegeta realizes that Cabba has more bravery in him than any Saiyan on planet Vegeta and any of the ones that he's seen on planet Sadala, and that's why he wants him to be king, because that way he can fix the mistakes that his father made and become the next ruler of the great Saiyan race. Basically, Planet Sadala's Universe 6 Saiyans are Vegeta's experiment. They're Vegeta's baby. He wants to make the Saiyan race great again, and he can in Universe 6. And as Vegeta looks on to all the training between all the Saiyans, even Kale and Caulifla, he thinks that this is all necessary because the Saiyans and Tuffle war that's coming soon is going to be a big deal. The king of planet Sadala gets a Zoom call that explains exactly where these shockwaves are coming from planet Sadala, and getting the update, the Saffurians feel a lot better, but they have an issue with the machine they're trying to work on, and that is when we get Tarble's wife here to help fix this machine. And that is the end of this chapter, with some beautiful artwork in color of everything that happened, the clash between the gods, the infiltration of the Saffurians, and the new species of green plant people that I actually really like. This is a great manga, honestly. I can't wait to see what the next chapter has in store for us. The fight between the Saffurian infused king of Sadala versus even God of Destruction Vegeta and Super Saiyan God Cabba. I'm not exactly sure how they're going to defeat God of Destruction Vegeta unless the Saffurians take control of his body, and then we have baby Vegeta all over again, with Cabba having to evolve to take him down. That's like really the only way that I can see it. I can't wait to see what happens next. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to cover this Dragon Ball fan manga. This is going to be Blackscape signing off. Take care, guys.
Subscribe for more content. Or perish.